What is going on, guys? My name is Commander, and welcome to the PDD, or Pokemon Draft Division, Season 1, Week 0 Power Rankings. These are the power rankings for the post-draft, you could say, of all the teams, even though some of the teams have changed already within the first week of play. I don't exactly know what channel this is coming out on, more than likely mine. We're supposed to have people joining, however, I feel like I'm going to be alone for the 4th Power Rankings in a row. That's perfectly okay. Used to that by now. So, without further ado, each team gets two minutes of talking. I really hope that it's, and you'll hear Discord going on. I really hope that it's not me just talking. So, moving right along, at number 16 on the list is RC and the Berlin Breloom. The Berlin Breloom drafted Breloom, which makes sense. Ladybug, which I'll rant on that later. Chandelure, Goodra, Milotic, Golbat, Dugtrio, Meloetta, Golem, Cradily. Drafted Liepard, but now has Kinklink, and then also got Mega Manetrix. So, hold on, let me grab my book. So all the notes I have, is from the post-draft, not including all the trades that have been made. However, some won't change. So moving right along, RC, who, as you can tell, when you pick your OU pick is Ladybug. Yeah. However, there's been a lot of talk, and Eviolite Ladybug evidently is viable. I'll still V-create it. I don't play RC anyway, but the stats of RC's team, he has three hazards, being, I think, Dugtrio, Golem, and Cradily. And then one form of hazard control, being Golbat. Unless Golem gets Rapid Spin, but I don't think so. And so that will make, because Chandelure doesn't want to take rocks, Ladybug doesn't want to take rocks, there goes your Eviolite Ladybug. Golbat, his Defogger doesn't want to take rocks. Yeah. There's a lot of things that don't want to take rocks. Even though he has some form of hazards, he does not have anything with hazard removal outside of Golbat, which I feel like Golbat is useful. But we're going to move on to number 15, which is Sokka and the New York Arcaniners. The Arcaniners have Gliscor, Chansey, Volcarona, Cresselia, Empoleon, Celebi, Hitmontop, Gramble, Electivire, Weezing, Hariyama, and Mega Banette. Just looking straight at the team from a standpoint of, he has 3 forms of hazards and 2 forms of hazard control. His form of hazards is Gliscor, Chansey, Empoleon. Right? I'm looking at this right. Good. His form of hazard removal obviously will be Empoleon and Hitmontop, which Hitmontop is a really reliable form of hazard removal. Empoleon's pretty decent as well, even though it does set up on... It does have rocks, and I don't see why you would defog your own rocks, but I guess I've done that before. It's a pretty decent team. I mean, Gliscor stalls, Chansey setup fodder. Volcarona does not want to come in on any sort of form of rocks, whatever. Cresselia is setup fodder. Empoleon's pretty decent. With Gliscor, works pretty good. Celebi is good. There's better grass types. Hitmontop works really well. It also can be defensive. Gramble is a good fairy defensive, because RC had none. Electivire is a good Volt Switcher. Weezing's, again, this is a very slow, stally team. And I don't know how well that'll do. It'll be interesting to find out how stall works in this draft, or in this league in general. I heard something plop up for me. Oh, it was Cheat coming in.
What's up, what's up?
we'll obviously get to cheat later on. But right now, number 14, we have Rapidash in the Toronto Rapidash. His team consists of Talonflame, Klefki, Espeon, Swampert, Metagross, Ambipom, Sceptile, Electros, Malamar, Scyther, Slaking, and Mega Scizor. And cheat if you ever want to just stop me from talking and talk about something, you totally can do that.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. I'm going to first go over where the heck is Dash. Okay. 3 form of hazards, 2 form of hazard control, 1 magic bouncer, that magic bouncer being Espeon, hazards being Klefki and Metagross, and Swampert, I think? I don't remember. And then his form of hazard control is Defog on Talonflame, which is stupid, and then Mega Scizor Defog, which is okay.
Yep. Scizor as well.
Yes, Mega Scizor. Overall, not as bad as the first team. I mean, at least Dash did not pick up Letty Buff for an OU pick. Nothing that really screams this will be a tough team to beat outside of Talonflame, but there's so many counters for Talonflame by now. You have any thoughts, Cheat?
No, I mean, I pretty much agree with you. They can all be used very effectively, but he doesn't have anything that's just screaming, this is going to be a giant pain in the face. So, decent team overall, but nothing that's, like I said, screaming just, this is going to suck.
And Bunny is here. I don't know if he's going to ever answer us, but we'll find out eventually. Okay, moving on. Let's see. To number 13, I believe. Number 12. It is number 12. Is Cantan and the Cincinnati Chininkos with that awesome icon that you can't see cheat, but it looks like a 2-year-old drew it. Cantan has Rotom Wash, Zapdos, Healisk, Crocodile, Mandibuzz, Escavalier, Alomomola, Chininko, Ferroseed, Amoris, Magmortar, and Mega Heracross. Just going on this alone, he has 3 form of hazards, being Crocodile, Ferroseed, I think Auroras gets Stealth Rocks.
I think so.
And then 3 form of hazard control being Defog Zapdos, Defog Mandibuzz, and Rapid Spin Ferroseed. So overall, his first 3 Mons are weak to Mold Breaker, Earthquake, just saying. I face Cantan. I have Excadrill, so I gotta keep that in mind.
Oh god.
But overall, similar to the previous team, there's, besides maybe Mega Heracross, but then again, Mega Heracross doesn't want to take any form of flying ever.
No, Mega Heracross is probably the biggest threat, probably. Mandibuzz is also a giant pain to deal with. Pretty good value considering it wasn't actually drafted. But yeah, I mean, he's got the market set on electric Pokemon, so
And Cantan was, I believe Cantan only was around for a couple of times through, and then he drafted his team afterwards. So that may explain.
Yeah, his team is mainly consisted of leftovers.
Okay, now next up, I think this is 11th. Let's see. Nope, 11th. 11th is Shiki and the Washington Vena Nationals, which is the longest team name out of the whole league. But Shiki's team is really good, actually, consisting of Garchomp, Togekiss, Scizor, Roserade, Darmanitan, Sneasel, Cofagris, Sock, Electabuzz, Tauros, Omastar, and Mega Blastoise. Just looking, of course, hazard control. 2 form of hazards being Garchomp and Roserade, because Roserade gets Toxic Spikes. And then forms of hazard control being Togekiss, Scizor, Defogging, and Mega Blastoise Rapid Spin, which that's a really good Rapid Spinner. However, unless you're going to run defog on Scissor, because I don't expect defog on Togekiss, you're going to be locked into running Rapid Spin on Blastoise every time.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, he's actually my first opponent, so it's a little scary. But yeah, he's kind of weak to hazards.
Very much. Well, Togekiss doesn't want to take hazards. Darmanitan doesn't want to take hazards. Sneasel doesn't want to take hazards. I don't expect Omastar to set up because Omastar can be O-code really easily, but that's something that can happen. Electabuzz is a decent Volt Switcher. However, he has little Volt Turn Core to do that with. Any more thoughts before we move on?
Oh man, I think it's pretty much covered on that one.
Okay, moving into number 10, we have the weird person himself. We have Sheej and the Draft Trees, who has Haxie Jirachi, Dragonite, Crobat, did have Crocodile, but now has Nidoqueen, did have Snorlax, but now has Gyarados, Jellicent, Fletchlander, Scrafty, Ditto, Relicanth, Mr. Mime, and Mega Diancie. 4 form of hazards, 2 form of hazard control, and a magic bouncer. The hazards being Jirachi, Nidoqueen, was Crocodile, so I guess those two are the same. Relicanth, and then Mega Diancie. The hazard control being Crobat, and Fletchland.
And Mega Bounce on Mega Diancie.
Yeah. Mega Bounce.
Not Mega Bounce, Magic Bounce.
Magic Bounce and Mega Diancie, and nope, Mr. Mime does not get Magic Bounce. I always think that. And then Relicanth also has Stealth Rocks. If you spoilers, if you did not, or I don't think either Sheej or Jayhawk will post their match. Sheej lost his first match 2-0, and I mean, hazards could say something, at least now on his team, because Dragonite doesn't want to take hazards, Crobat, which is one of his hazard control, doesn't want to take hazards, Gyarados doesn't want to take hazards, Fletchlander doesn't want to take hazards. I mean, even though he has a Magic Bouncer and Mega Diancie, he is kind of weak to hazards.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah, he's got a lot of, like, it's going to sound awkward, but he's got a lot of, like, strong cheese. Lots of different things that he can do that are going to be very off the wall that can totally throw somebody off.
And I think that's how he's kind of it sounds like he's kind of the Cooper of the league. So, moving on to number 9. Number 9 is Spider in the Cleveland Escavaliers. Spider's team consists of Raikou, Latias, Infernape, Tentacruel, Slurpuff, Druddigon, Exploud, Seismitoad, Xatu, Vilvion, Crustle, and then Mega Slowbro. Just going over hazards. 3 form of hazards, a Magic Bouncer, and 2 hazard controls. The hazards being Infernape, Tentacruel, Druddigon, and Crustle. So I guess there's 4. I probably didn't count Infernape the first time because whoever runs Stealth Rocks Infernape is weird. 2 form of hazard control is Latias and Rapid Spin on
Tentacruel.
Yeah. And then obviously Xatu gets Magic Bounce. Overall, it's kind of the first team that has some good mons in it. However, still nothing that it's not like a Manaphy, cough cough, or any of that. Nothing that will really completely sweep teams outside of Infernape, but Infernape can get stopped really easily.
Yeah, for sure. His OU and UU are crazy strong, but the support within the RU and NU are a little bit more lacking, but definitely still very strong.
Yeah. I will say this: I was going to pick Xatu, my next NU pick. However, he took it, and I was really mad because I needed form of hazards.
I was actually right there as well. I think he was like right before me. I was just like, "Are you serious?"
The second graphics we get now goes into number 8 or 9. I don't remember where. We're just going to continue going. Is Thunderbug, who replaced Fancy. Thunderbug is the coach of the San Diego Wingles. His team, which of course he had to draft completely after the draft was done, was Ferrothorn, Salamence, Slowbro, Noivern, Menchow, Florges, Braviary, Sigalith, Hitmonchan, Levany, Luxray, and Mega Gallade, which for a team that you had to draft after the draft was done, it's not that bad of a team.
Yeah, no, it's really not. Like, looking at it, I'm kind of upset that so many of these got left over. Like, you see Slowbro and Ferrothorn, and like Hitmonchan wasn't even taken. He's good for hazard removals. Like, he did a pretty solid job, truthfully.
Yeah.
One Nidoking that can sweep that entire team.
Hold on, who joined us? Bunny actually joined us. That's good.
Oh, hey, what's up?
Hey. Yeah, Bolt Beam destroys that team.
True.
Salamence and Noivern on one team. Kind of
And Noivern.
strange.
And then also,
Yeah, it is. But at the same time, I mean, you still get a couple free agent moves you can do, and you can do totally different things with both of the mons. So I mean, you could do some crazy things with both of them on the same team, even though it does open you up to a pretty large ice weakness.
Yeah.
he doesn't have Slowbro. If you want to put Slowbro or Mega Gallade as a ice switch in, but that's besides the point. Okay, moving on to the next one. We have Podge. I should know about Podge's team pretty well by now. Podge and the Durham Doge. His team, if you didn't watch my team builder Wednesday, because I don't know when this is coming up, he had Heatran, Superior, Hydreigon, Mamoswine, Fortress, Slowking, Rodamo, Hoopa, Rhydon, Garbodor, Wailord, and Mega Medicham. And I can talk, I think I talked 5 minutes about his team and my team builder against him. 5 forms of hazards. He had one form of hazard control on the whole team. No, he had 0 forms of hazard control on the whole team.
Fortress.
Yes, and before, because he had Whimsicott.
Well, Fortress was picked up after because of Whimsicott, yeah.
He didn't have any form of hazards control, at least. He had plenty of hazards. He has Rhydon, Garbodor. Now he has Fortress. That adds more. Mamoswine, and Heatran. There's not a whole lot that can really run through his team because his first 6 picks, which obviously was his Mega 2 OU and 3 UU, they don't have any common weaknesses.
Yeah, he's extremely offensive.
Yeah, for sure. Fortress is definitely a good pickup for hazard control because, being on the offensive so strongly, that can really come around to bite you in the butt. But his first 6 mons are just very, very powerful.
And then he has
A
some
lot of type
mons
diversity.
in the back, like Hoopa or Garbodor, that if you don't plan for something like that,
Or even Rock Polish, Rhydon.
Yeah, or even Slowking.
Those bunnies here, you might as well talk about your team and the Warsaw Wishy-Washies. Do you want me to say your team?
I'm fan of this team. It's just meant to be as diverse as possible. Hence why Mew and Tornado's first 2 picks. And Mega Altaria can do anything pretty much. And then Yu went pretty well for defensive, kinda. And Oreo was a disaster. And then the last 3 picks were just to make up for my giant weaknesses. The fighting and Fairy. Especially Mega Gardevoir.
Of course, Mew can do about anything you want it to do, but
Yeah.
You don't want me to just do one thing. And then Tornadus is obviously really good. He's part of the Broken family.
Yeah. And you can have a tiny little rain team going on with natives and that.
Yeah, for sure. Tornadoes, hurricanes that don't miss, it's real scary.
Yeah.
I'm just checking ahead here. Okay.
Yeah, for sure. Your team is very, very versatile. It can do just about anything, so put together a pretty nice team.
I'll just say Mega Altaria was one of my ideas for Mega, but I was wanting Absol, but that was taken, so I got the next best thing, which was Fabio. But we'll get to mine later. Next up, 6th, I believe I have it wrote down, is my next opponent, Big Bad and the Melbourne Magnetons, whose team consists of Clefable, Skarmory, Reuniclus, Cloyster, Nidoking, Hitmonlee, Delphox, Virizion, Ariatops, Armaldo, Linoon, and then he had Salamence, but traded Salamence for Megalodios. I can just say prepping for this team was really hard because he has a lot of bulky mons, and then he has so much setup sweepers.
Yeah, Big Bad's roster is like it's all over the place in all the right ways. He has a very, very solid team. There's no like glaring weaknesses.
Yeah. Megalodios, Clefable, and Skarmory core.
In combination with Megalodios, I mean it's kind of scary.
Megalodios is so versatile.
And of course, Reuniclus, I mean, that thing is about as versatile as it gets.
I'm going to set up 6
Cloyster's pretty
corners.
scary.
Do it.
For a PvP.
Yes. Same with Nidoking and even Hitmonlee for a Rapid Spinner. I've seen him sweep teams. It's crazy.
Yeah, reverse that.
Speaking of rapid spinners, I'm just looking here. I don't see
Yeah,
it.
Hitmonlee was actually a pretty high target for me, and Big Bad just scooped him up like 2 picks before me. I was pretty upset about that.
I don't get why he picked the Linoon though.
Hey man, don't sleep on that belly drum Linoon. That thing's scary.
E-speed does nothing to OUMA. I don't think it even, with plus 6, do like 60 to slow bro.
Moving into number 5. Yes, number 5, we have the person who right now has every single person voting for him. That is Chanky in the Brisbane Heatrans, who has Kieran Black, Starmie, Scolipede, Vaporeon, Sableye, Jolteon, Aromatisse, Emboar, Mesprit, Miltank, Rotom Fan, and Aggron. First off, it's Kieran Broken, not Kieran Black. And you don't want to probably set up hazards on this person, on Changi, because Starmie is really good. Though that's kind of his only good form of hazard control outside of, well, no, that it? Yeah, that's it. It's his only form of hazard control.
Yep, pretty much.
Though he does have a good amount of hazards, being like Scolipede, Mesprit, Mega Aggron.
Yeah, I mean, he's another one that, like, he just built a very, very solid core. He's got a lot of pretty good defense, and, I mean, cheer him alone. I mean, he can make or break a team. So, I mean, if you don't plan for cure him, I mean, you pretty much lost. So, I mean, yeah, like, it's a pretty good team. I mean, like you said, his hazard control is a little weak, but, you know, it's still definitely
Black.
something you
In
can
Baton has some speed to Emboar. Mega Aggron.
or even over to cure him, get that choice band, just outspeed everything.
Okay, moving into number 4, we have Virgie, and the coach of the Kelowna Mawiles, who has Latios, Lando Broken, that's Lando T if you didn't know, Suicune, Arcanine, Galvantula, Spiritomb, Magneton, Venusaur, Steelix, Mismagius, Mawile, and Mega Gardevoir. And here's where we start getting into the scary mons.
Yeah, man. I mean, Virgie's just kind of like he's got it all over the place. I mean, it's such a solid core. It's just crazy. I mean, Lando, Latios, Gardevoir, Suicune. I mean, like all of those mons are just so good. It's hard to mess with any of those, and even all of his lower picks. I mean, he's got crazy defense and even just different things that he can do with all of them. I mean, his team is very, very versatile. There's just a lot he can do with it.
The only downside to his team is Latios is his only form of defog, or any hazard control in general. Absolutely right.
Yep. Yeah, it is, isn't it?
Whoa.
Someone else joined the call? No. Okay.
Oh,
Okay.
Mega Gardevoir is probably the most threatening Mega at the moment, apart from that Sunday. But
Yeah, Gardevoir is really scary to deal with.
especially for the lower tier mon.
Yeah, nothing wants a hyper voice.
Okay, moving into number 3. I don't know if I should talk about this person. You'll just hear me rant a little bit. Number 3, we have Commander, or me, and coach of the Sylveon KC, a team of Victini, Excadrill, Azumarill, Sylveon, Chestnut, Flygon, Aselgor, Yuxi, Skuntank, Claydol, Lantern, and Mega Ampharos, aka Fabio. And outside of the massive ground weakness that I discovered match 1, even though like 3 of my mons have Levitate.
I mean, like, what all were you thinking with that? I mean, like, not as a bad thing. I mean, you have a very, very solid team. There's not really anything bad you can say about it other than the big ground weakness. So, I mean, what were some of the reasons you picked some of these guys?
Okay, I can go into this. So first off, offensive fire type. Victini was the first offensive fire type taken, and because I was going to get Manaphy instead and then go for Entei. However, Manaphy was taken, so then went straight to Victini because Victini and Manaphy I can trade off and on. And then I needed some form of hazards that's reliable, and I didn't want to have to deal with Excadrill on a sand team. So I drafted Excadrill myself. And then moving through, because I was dead last, I needed Fairy Pressure, I needed Water Pressure, as I didn't get Manaphy. So I got Azumarill and Sylveon, because I was the first UU pick, which was really helpful. And then just filling up holes, I needed a Grass type, I got Chestnut. I needed Electric type, I got Ampharos. I needed a Dragon type, I got Flygon. I needed something to where I wouldn't get swept with Psychic, I got Skuntank, even though that really didn't work out for me in the first round.
Oh yeah, man. Yeah, you put together some solid mons. You personally sniped me like 3 different times with like Flygon and Excadrill and what was the other one? Oh, Clayton. I was so
I'm here now.
Oh, what's up? This is 27.
We do have
Hey,
heads.
it's your boy, the young bush.
Okay, moving into number 2, and someone who already has a win under his belt this season is going to be Jayhawk and the Boston Weasels, with, of course, the best abbreviation of Bob. He has a team of Thunderous Incarnate, Hippowdon, Volcanion, Heracross, Dowblade, Blastoise, Medicham, Registeel, Kecleon, Sandslash, Rapidash, and Mega Absol.
Why is this team so offensive?
It is very offensive, but like at the same time, like
Can take it.
his offense
Just got like
is
put
scary.
out on a Doublade for no reason.
Yeah,
Jayhawk.
but I mean at the same time, they can take the heat off for a lot of the.
got a really good team, a really solid team.
He's very big special attacks. Apart from Reggie Steele, if that went special defensive, but otherwise,
Reggie Steele just comes in on anything.
yeah. But he has no other special wall.
It's not. That's true.
Apart from Kecleon, but that doesn't really count.
Well, Kecleon is not a special wall. Kecleon is Kecleon.
Yeah, Kecleon is.
If you run
That's all
defensive,
you've got
if you
for
run defensive Kecleon, you're a lord and you deserve to win.
AV wouldn't really take much, but 120 special defense is very nice.
I will say
Nice
that
AV Amnesia Kecleon. Okay.
Jayhawk sniped Sandslash and Absol from me. Like, and Jayhawk was just like 2 people in front of me, so.
Yeah, his biggest 2 for me that he took were Dublade and Reggie Steele. I wanted both of those real bad.
Both of those are really good, like, steel types, like defensive steel types.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why he got that, but no.
Okay, we've saved him for last because he is number 1. We have Cheat and the Washington Blizzards, who drafted
This team
the
is disgusting.
disgusting team of Manaphy, Thunderous T, Entei, Dawnfan, Shaman, Bronzong, Drapion, Diancie. First drafted Politoed, then got Klinklank, and then traded that for Liepard, Kabutops, Golurk, and then the powerhouse that is Megalopunny. So Cheat, talk.
Well, I mean, just kind of starting from the top, kind of like you did. I mean, Manaphy is really just a do-it-all Pokemon. It can do pretty much everything and anything and more than that. Probably like the most versatile water type, in my opinion. It's amazing. Thunderous, I mean, you got Volt Absorb on it. Just one of the strongest and fastest electric types out there. It's just crazy. Obviously immune to ground with the flying type. Entei, I mean, he's Entei. You can't really say anything else about it.
Isn't like
Dawn,
Manic Signifier Fire to Akela everything?
more or less. I mean, Dawnfan is crazy solid. Shaman can do a little bit of everything. Bronzong is stupid. Drapion is there, he just kind of does a little bit of everything, but at the same time, a little bit of nothing. So, Diancie, I mean, right there needed a solid fairy type, and RU, it was still there. I did originally draft Politoed, because I'm an idiot, didn't realize that Drizzle wouldn't be available. So I did some finagling and trading and got me Liepard. Liepard can do pretty much anything, truthfully. Kabutops, if I got Rain Up for, Manaphy, Thunderous, Swim, Rapid Spin, he's just a monster. Golurk is an amazing spin blocker. He can do a little bit of everything, and nobody wants a Dynamic Punch. And then my biggest surprise in the draft was that Megalopunny fell to the 3rd round. I was right in the middle, so getting Megalopunny, like I was going to settle for, Mega Venusaur or, something else down the line, and Lopunny was there, and I mean, it's such a powerhouse. I could not pass it up. So I mean, it really just kind of, it's crazy, man.
It is.
So.
I mean, I put it number 1.
Why is this
so.
team like so strong in every aspect?
I have no clue.
Point out that last first 2-hit KO was everything.
It has like ridiculous coverage. It's insane offense and pretty good defense. It's just
Okay.
good luck to whoever has to face this.
That's all the time we have for today. My name is Commander. For everyone else, we'll see you again. No one else, we'll see you again next